Hello, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Kat, and this is Luna. Welcome to Delight in Fright. And today we have our special guest, Sara Crocoll Smith. She is a writer and editor. She's done Love Letters to Poe, Volume 1, A Toast to Edgar Allan Poe. Volume 2 of Love Letters to Poe is Houses of Usher. She's also done a Spring into Sci-Fi 2022 edition and Chlorophobia, an eco-horror anthology. And she has also written The Haunting of Orchard Hill and The Haunting of Willow Creek. Welcome, Sara. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, the Spring into Sci-Fi and the Chlorophobia actually have short stories of mine in them. I just don't want them to be like, oh.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yes, they have some of my work in them. I'm very proud of being in those.
Nice.
Yeah. So, do you want me to just start talking?
Go right ahead. Yeah. Let us know a little bit about you before we bombard you with all the fun questions.
Yeah, I love getting questions because I always feel like someone will come at me with something I haven't gotten before. So, Love Letters to Poe. I brought the books here if we want to show them.
Ooh,
There we go. Yeah, some visuals. It's always nice to have some.
How thick are the books?
No, you're trying to get me trying. So about,
very thick.
A decent length, about
girthy.
I know like readers don't talk in like words. It's 60 to 70,000 words, but that's like, I don't know, 300 pages almost.
Ooh.
So not too terrible. But yeah, so there's a lot going on with Love Letters to Poe right now. I guess I should start at the beginning, is that there are Gothic anthologies with original stories and poems by authors and poets from all over the world, inspired by Poe's works in that vein, the theme, the mood. And so the first one, A Toast to Edgar Allan Poe, is I started it as a magazine originally. So this is a collection of the 12 original issues. They were themed, so you get like a broad spread of Gothic stories. And then the second one, it's called Houses of Usher because they're all inspired by the fall of the House of Usher, which was really interesting to put together. I was like, oh, am I going to get all these submissions that are like the same thing? But it was really cool. Like I got like prequel stories and sequel stories and like a story about like a creepy doll, which I don't like creepy dolls. So it's right. And so it scared me. But yeah, I mean, just some great stuff in there. I'm really proud of all the contributors. The first one, A Toast to Edgar Allan Poe, won what's called a Saturday Visitor Award last year.
Nice.
So yeah, the Poe Baltimore Museum holds the International Edgar Allan Poe Festival and Awards, which is actually next weekend. But yeah, so it won last year, and then Houses of Usher is nominated this year, so I'll find out in just a couple of days.
So Brian says, hi, Luna and Kat. I'm looking forward to hearing more about Sara's books, as I am a huge fan of Edgar Allan Poe's writings.
That's awesome.
And then we have Senna Cramped in the house. So yeah, guys, at any point, if you guys have any questions for Sara, please feel to shoot them out in the comments. That way your questions are also answered. So that's always very fun to have engaging audience for our, not only for other viewers, but for our host and everybody involved behind the scene. It's always fun.
Yeah, this is exciting. I like doing a live stream instead of like a lot of times I just do recordings, but the engagement, that's cool.
Yeah.
Excited to have Brian and Cinecrypt here.
Yeah, we have our sneaky ninjas, I call them. We normally don't say anything, but we have a few others in the background. You know who you are, not saying anything.
Please ask me things, because I just did a book festival this weekend, and I feel like I've got my like spiel, but like I just want to
Yeah.
talk to
Of
you guys.
course.
So
So how long does it usually take you to read through all the stories you're sent, and what is kind of your process for filtering through all of them?
yeah, it can be hundreds of stories and poems. Gosh, it takes me anywhere from a month to 3 months to really like wade through them. And I kind of feel like it's sculpting. Like I have like this raw material and I'm like, not this one, not that one. And then I kind of get down to this like core stories and poems that I feel like work together. Like especially for Houses of Usher, I wanted to put them in an order that made sense too. So like the reader's experience, I started with like a prequel story and then like I ended more with the sequels. And so it kind of goes along the timeline of the fall of the House of Usher. And then also balancing the amount and length of stories versus poems and kind of switching it up. But it was really important for me to include poems because Poe was a huge poet. But a lot of anthologies don't seem to have too much poetry. But yeah,
I know. I love that.
thanks.
That's true. And I am always curious to find out how people get into horror because we all walk different lives and we all come from different backgrounds and upbringings. And what kind of got you started in the whole horror genre?
Well, it might be an obvious answer to say Edgar Allan Poe, but I think that he's a lot of our first exposure to any kind of horror. We get that pretty young in school. So, Gothic horror, I don't know, it left like an imprint on me for a long time. Dracula, very into that. I mean, when I was younger, it was all like Buffy, Dracula, Anne Rice, the pre-Twilight days.
Yes.
So that just stuck with me, and always kind of gravitated to horror since then. But I think for me, I'll watch some of the scarier stuff, but I kind of like the lighter fare, the like Crimson Peak and the a little
Yes.
more
Yes.
romantic leaning
Yeah.
sometimes. So that's where I'm at.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I also got started on Edgar Allan Poe, but when
Yeah.
I was a teenager, I read this book called Vampire Kisses. It
Ooh.
was it was kind of it's like kind of meant for teenage girls. It's about a girl that moves into a new town. She has no friends and like she kind of falls for this guy who ends up being a vampire and
Oh.
chaos ensues, but not Twilight, not like kind of
No.
weird and stalkery vibes. No.
Yeah.
And speaking of Edgar, it's true. I mean, what guy watches you
Yeah, I
sleep?
was just processing what you said.
Ugh. No, he's just a creep, and we're not down with creeps like that. Like, do not watch me sleep. Do not come in. No, it's just weird. If you want to hang out and do like stuff, just like knock on the window and be like, "Hey, let's watch a movie or do something." Not like
Don't sparkle at me.
so. Let me show you guys something that I have above my computer here. I
Oh.
have a framed portrait. I actually went to the Edgar Allan Poe Museum in Richmond, Virginia,
Oh,
and I
yeah,
picked
that's
this up. I picked this up and I framed it. So, Goth girl, have to have a picture of
I
the
mean,
person.
he was supposed to be like a real charmer and real attractive, so
Yeah, except for the part where he wants to marry his 12-year-old cousin or
I
something
think
weird
she
like
was
that.
13. Yeah, but there were some customs, and I think there was some like,
Sure.
was he trying to just take care of them? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. different times, I guess. I'm not condoning it, but
That's kind of true.
Back in
And
that day, 13 was old. You're an old lady.
yeah, you'll die at like 30.
I think she died real young too, didn't she?
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm. And then back then you had like all of the kings and queens and monarchs and people, dukes and duchesses and all of that just intermarrying, for
yeah.
money or to keep the wealth. So it's kind of, I guess it was okay at the time. They didn't know about genetics or anything like that. So makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Cinecrypt does want to ask, how do you feel about the resurgence of older horror franchises, i.e., another Saw movie and another Exorcist movie?
Oh. Hmm.
Ooh.
I guess, oh my God, I feel old now. I was like, wait, Saw is old?
We're all old.
I know.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, like about Saw, I mean, who didn't love like the first Saw when that came out?
Yeah.
I freaking love that.
I'll raise my hand because I absolutely hate the franchise. Sorry,
Now,
guys.
no, okay, so what I will say is like, I know a lot of people have been talking about what is it, Saw 10 coming out, and I've just been like,
20.
what? 20?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh my
I'm
God,
kidding.
I'm like, wait, I've been sleeping.
Feels
No,
like it
but
though.
I thought that there was something really special, the twist in the first one, and where I think the franchise lost me, because I think a lot about storycraft. It lost me when the gore wasn't story driven. It didn't feel like it had a purpose to the story. It just felt like gore for gore's sake. So um I guess I wasn't into that. I can buy into like a lot of violence and gore, but it's gotta like, I don't know, have like a motivation from the characters, like a real reason, not just feel like torture porn, I guess. Not hating on
Yes.
anyone who likes Saw. That's great for you. I'm not hating on that. It's just not, I mean, I already said that I don't like the gory stuff as much anyway. So
Mhm.
um
I'm
then
with you.
yeah, like Exorcist wasn't really my bag either. I don't know. I like more. I do like ghosts and werewolves and vampires and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
that's true.
So yeah,
Yeah, I feel that way too. Like The Exorcist was kind of, it hit home for me.
oh yeah,
It hit too close to home because I grew up Catholic.
yeah.
So
That's
I'm
what my
like,
mom says because she grew up super
yeah,
Catholic.
I'm like, I don't know. It like it freaks me out because like I've had an uncle that was a priest that did a exorcism on a house.
Really?
Yes, and it's pretty intense. So that's why I'm like,
Wow.
I don't want to, I watch movies to escape reality, not to reminiscence on what's happened. So that's
Yeah.
probably why I don't like it. And I don't like Saw personally because I don't dig the story. It's just kind of, hey, let's chop up people because it's fun. And apparently, I'm suffering because I have cancer or whatever, or terminally ill, and I'm just going to kill people for the fuck of it. I'm like,
Yeah. I mean, I think there is
no.
something to what I felt was like the original intent of the story, and like in you life is precious, embrace it. And I do love that about a lot of horror stories. I think kind of have that at its core. But I think you're right. I think it lost sight of that
Of that and just
possible
became,
original intent. Yeah.
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 I agree. That
Cool.
was a great question, Cinecrypt. That brought us to a lot of interesting
Yeah.
topics.
Yes,
How do you
yeah.
feel, Kat, about, did you see The Exorcist yet?
Not the new one. I love the original Saw, like Sarah was sharing, because for the same reasons, like when it originally came out, um, it was more of like trying to wake people up, right? Trying to get them out of the mundane and show them how to appreciate life. Because a lot of people, they just get stuck in the day to day, and they forget about, what their real drives are, what their real purpose is. And that was the original intent behind the storyline for the original Saw. I'm sure once you started with the franchise, it had already, kind of been part 3 or 4 or something like that. So you didn't really get the very first situation. That's why at least it's dear to heart to me, because it was kind of Fight Club-ish, if it makes any sense, like before there was a Fight Club, because that was the original intent behind Fight Club, to kind of wake people up, get them out of the military complex and the buy this, buy that. It's not all about consumption. And then The Exorcist, the first one creeped me out, but of course I saw it extremely edited the first time. And, as most of us did on TV with all the commercials, they had the stuff into it. But then when I finally got to see it unedited, and wow, yeah, it's pretty intense, but that spider walk just really gets me.
Yeah. That's awesome. Sarah, going back a little bit to the book that you wrote, the series, um, I want to know a little bit more about that. What happens? Like, who are we following? What's going on? Is it a main character? What is the story? Just a little bit. If you don't want to share too much, that's fine, because we have to read it for ourselves. But just a little bit of what it's about.
So you're talking about the stories that I write, right?
Yeah,
Or the post.
the love letters to Poe.
Okay. Yeah, so because that's an anthology, it's just
Oh.
like you can read each on its own.
Oh, okay.
Right? And it's by all different people. So it's just it kind of, and anthology is kind of like a buffet, right? You could be like, oh, I like this, I don't like that. And then if you like someone's writing, then you can like look more for their work, which I think is great.
So what was it that inspired you to take on such a task? I heard that you wanted to start a magazine. Was that, or did you want it originally to be a magazine and then just kind of pivoted?
Yeah, I think that, so I mentioned I write as well, my own stories, and this book has been shelved. It may be revived, but I had written a story that had Poe as a character in it, and I thought it would be cool to sort of build this whole Poe platform. And that's still sort of a long-term aim. Right now, I'm focusing on the anthologies, but I will do other Poe related books. But I think maybe I would say I lost my mind a little bit, because it was like I had just had a baby and the pandemic was like starting, and I don't know. I just went for it, and I did a whole year of it as a magazine. I think some of it was I had been submitting stories to places, and you know just the acceptance rate. I mean, it's they just can't accept all the work, and so I was like, well, I'd rather be in control on the other end. So that it's kind of all snowballed over the past couple of years. But I've really enjoyed doing it. I think the experience has been awesome.
Interesting comment from Cinecrypt. I love the pacing and story craft of Exorcist 1 and 2.
Got some real Exorcist fans on here, huh?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I know in my head that like Exorcist is creepy, but I don't know if I'm kind of atheist, so like I don't know. I'm a little skeptical about, but I think if you are religious, I feel like like you were saying, it really hits you. I'm sure.
I'm not religious anymore, but having had gone through some of
Well,
that, you're
that's
like,
hard to dig out of your Catholic stuff, right?
yeah. It's like I feel like I have to. I mean, this is kind of sad to say, but I feel like I have to go to conversion therapy to unlearn the Catholic.
I know. My mom talks about the nuns and stuff, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And and if I had gone through that, I'm left-handed. I don't know. I probably would have
You would have been beat with a ruler.
I would be right-handed. No, I don't know if
it's
I
pretty dark stuff.
could have could I
Sarah, the question of the hour that I'm dying to know.
Yeah.
That I'm like on eggshells, just like, tell me.
Okay.
Are you planning on writing a drum roll fantasy horror book? Sorry, I have to sneak that in there.
She's
every
obsessed.
show.
Luna's
I'm
obsessed with
obsessed.
fantasy horror.
Fantasy horror.
You know, some sort of elves and they go through weird, horrific things, or I don't know, whatever.
I can't say I have that exact plan. There is a fantasy story I have. Like, I mean, I don't know. I
Ooh.
have like ideas, but I'm not sure. Like my writing, I'm not sure how horrific it is. It's, it's gothic horror.
Oh, that's still good.
Yeah. So, the one story I was mentioning, the like one that had Poe as a character, that is a series I do want to
Mm.
write and flesh out. I have like books planned out, but basically the main character, it is a little it's like there's some magic going on. So
Ooh.
she meets this Poe character in this like manor, and she has to go into books, into the stories, to try to save the like Lord of the Manor. So I don't, yeah, I mean, so it would be like the first one, she goes into Poe's stories, or then she goes into like Jekyll and Hyde or that kind of thing, or Dracula.
Nice.
So
That's fantastical and has horror elements if you're gonna put Dracula and all
yeah,
these things. I think that sounds so much fun.
thanks. Yeah, I like those story within a story and meta kind of stuff, and playing with that. So
Oh, awesome. Did that book already release?
no,
Oh.
I have it planned out. I
It's
have
all up here.
Well, some of it's drafted. I mean, it's more solid
Ooh.
than some of my other ideas, but I'd alluded to like did you see the other books I'll show you. These are they're a little shiny. We can see. But
The Haunting of what?
Orchard Hill and Willow Creek.
Oh, are they
Um,
related?
they're in the same universe. So you can read them as standalones, which people seem to like, but you get like Easter eggs, like
Ooh.
the honey in this one, because it's all, hunted bees and honey and stuff, plays a role. It gets a mention, and Willow Creek, and I have a master plan.
Ooh.
Nice.
But yeah, that's what I've been, as far as my writing right now, been
Mhm.
working on that series, and that's gothic, of course. There's a theme there, but the ghosts act through nature, so I infuse a lot of like nature folklore in the stories,
Ooh.
which, I mean, when you Google anything, everything's related to death, bees and death, willow trees and witches, like, so there's a lot
Yeah.
to play with there. But yeah, that's what I've been working on as far as
So for the nerdy people in the house that want to read them, which book of those two that you showed, which one should they read first to kind of get the Easter eggs on the other one? Should they read the
I would say if you want, if you want that experience, you can read them and appreciate them, I think, in either order, but Orchard Hill is,
Orchard Hill?
yeah, the
Okay, guys.
Haunting of Orchard Hill is the first one that I would say
Nice.
like dive into. But yeah.
Ooh. You guys have homework. Read Orchard Hill, buy it and read it, and let us know.
I
what you
mean, please do. But they're not like crazy long, and people tell me the pacing's pretty good. So as far
Yeah.
as time investment goes, it's not too bad.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love the escape. Those who are readers, we love to read and just kind of escape, because the world is we build it ourselves within our minds. So that's why I think writing is so important. And I just wish I had more time to read. I really do.
I hear that.
Yeah.
So what was it, Sarah, that you just did you have these things in your head and you just knew you had to write, or like how did the passion for writing kind of start? Where do you think it's rooted from?
Yeah, I think I've always had a passion for storytelling. I don't know. I just always come up with like all these little stories, and my dad's always like, "Where do you get this stuff from?"
Aw.
But no, like in a good way, I think. But yeah, I I like working through the themes and kind of figuring out for myself how I feel about that part of life, if that makes sense. So, like, The Haunting of Orchard Hill is is interesting because that was also beginning of the height of the pandemic. I had just had a baby, um, like came right home. I was like 2 months off maternity leave, back home with the toddler, working. So either, I was either watching him or working, and I was like, I'm going to lose myself. Um, and I had no time to sit down and write. And so that book, I actually dictated it into into a mic while pushing my son in a stroller. And
Nice.
so that book is a lot of working through my feelings about new motherhood. And I know some other mothers who've read it who are, yeah, I think it hits them in all
Aw.
the feels. So yeah, not that it's like
Nice.
super sappy, but yeah, I mean, I think so.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's why I like stories. It helps me work through these
Or
different parts
whatever.
of life. Yeah.
That's so
Did you
awesome.
find people when they read it, were they able to like pull things that were going on in your life that you didn't actually write in there? That's what I always find interesting is like whenever I write something and I read it out to a group of people, they're like, they find all this stuff. I'm like, holy crap, how do they know? You know, it's somehow in there.
People close to me will see stuff, but that's also dangerous because they make interpretations that everybody, when they're reading it through their own life lens. So I don't think people should make too many assumptions about my life. Like, I actually put a note in the back. I was like, just so you know, like, my husband isn't abusive, or like, because the main character's husband is abusive. I'm like, he's not. He's awesome. I will say that like there's a 1-year-old in the book, and that's very much, I think, captures that moment of life for me with my son.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's totally cool.
Thanks.
I know those denial letters are rough when you submit things. Did you have to send some out yourself? Did you have like a set limit of how
Yeah.
many stories you wanted to have, and how did you kind of like vote people off the island?
Oh God. Yes. Well, I think I'm extra sensitive to it because I have received those rejections myself. So no, it's hard to say I have a set story amount, right? Because I could take a bunch of shorter ones or one longer one. So I kind of have to make those calls. Um, honestly, I do what a lot of journals and anthologies do is like form rejections. Just I can't personalize every single one, and sometimes I think that lessens the blow because if I'm, I have gotten rejections where they're like, you were in the top 10%, and that makes me feel nice, and so I can try to do that, but I also have to be wary. Like, I don't know these people. I don't know how they're going to react. So I just try to be careful too.
Yeah,
That makes sense. Yeah.
that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say when you guys were talking about the readers and all that, I'm like I'm probably your hardest audience to capture.
Oh yeah.
Just simply because I'll like read something and then I'll be like, what did I just read? And then I'll read it again, and then I'll be like, fuck, I get so frustrated because I'll read a paragraph and I'm like,
Hmm.
the hell did I just read? And then I'll reread it like a bazillion times. I'll be like, oh, okay, finally, it makes sense. So I try to do audiobook, and that
Hmm.
way I hear it and then I see the words. If I do
Yeah.
both together, that seems to help. But some, it's very hard to connect with writers. So I'm definitely gonna read your stuff, and I'm like a
Oh,
very hard
thanks.
critique. So I will. I'm like your best friend. Like, if you're a writer, I'm your best friend because I'm like the ADD person. I'm like squirrel. Oh wait, what am I reading again? It's so hard for me to get into a book, and I wanted to
Yeah.
challenge myself and read Lord of the Rings. Oh my god, I
Oh
got
wow.
through like, even with the audiobook, I got through like this much of it, and I'm like, oh, I finally got to
Yeah.
like Weathertop, and then I'm like, I don't know if I can do this, man. And I was just like slowly like chipping at it, and then once I finished it, I'm like, oh god. And my friends were like, read the pre one, the Silmarillion, something like that.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm like, do you guys want me to die? Because this is how you do it. Like, no. So
Oh my
I
gosh.
haven't had enough strength to read that.
Yeah.
Now, on a reader's level, is this would you say your work is like fairly easy for like people that aren't everyday readers, that are like hardcore readers?
I think so. I mean, a lot of the issues you're mentioning, I have as well. Like I reread the same sentence and I'm like, what?
What? Yeah.
So, I write pretty short chapters and I try to write in a way that is easy to read and flow, and people have said that it is. Um,
Cool.
I like the short chapters. I don't know, it's like a sense of accomplishment. Like, oh, okay, good. Check that. So yeah, I think so.
So Brian wants to know, does each
Mm,
story in the Love Letters to Poe anthology series contain themes from Poe's stories, or are they just inspired by Poe's writings?
that's great. Brian's getting us back on track here with the post stuff.
Ooh, I know, we
Yeah.
just like, woo.
No, it's good. I mean, that's how conversations go, right?
Yeah,
And I should talk about my own writing sometimes too. But yeah, the first one, Brian, is a spread, is a sampling, like I said, just from the nature of it originally having been themed issues in a magazine. The second one is all around the fall of the House of Usher. And so the third one that is we're launching the Kickstarter for tomorrow. Uh,
ooh.
is all going to be inspired by the Telltale Heart, classic.
Nice.
Um,
Nice.
so yeah, I hope people like that. I feel like for the Fall of the House of Usher, that wasn't my favorite Poe story, but it really like deepened my appreciation and understanding of the story. And I was like, oh, okay, I see what Poe was doing there. But I mean, the Telltale Heart one, I think that's going to be great. Um, I'm a little bit nervous about how gory the submissions might be.
Ooh.
I've already cautioned submitters, like, don't just send me murder without a reason. um,
Aw, just kidding.
no, I mean, well, I've had some creepy submissions in the past. One was like about murdering the editor who was reading it, and I was like, that's a little bit too real, guys. Like,
Too
I'm gonna need
personal. Yeah.
you to
Are you
simmer
still
down.
accepting submissions or it's all ready to
So
go?
submissions are also opening tomorrow. So they'll be open all
Ooh.
month along with the Kickstarter. I'm also doing the all day virtual Poe party that anyone can join. So it doesn't just have to be, for the Kickstarter. People can just come see like dramatic readings and like the Poe Museum curator for the Richmond Museum, actually, Luna, is going to talk about Telltale Heart.
Ooh.
Yeah, so there's going to be some interesting stuff. I don't know if you could share the links with people who are
I
watching.
can. I'm doing that right now. We're
Thank
thinking the
you.
same thing. We're thinking the same thing. There we
Thanks.
are.
Yeah, so that event it starts at 12:30 Eastern tomorrow. And yeah, so the Kickstarter will be for the new Telltale Heart volume, but also for all three in like pretty hardcovers. So yeah, exciting stuff.
Ooh.
I'm ready. I'm just nervous.
Aw. So, when I went to the Edgar Allan Poe Museum, they have the caretaker, the cats. Oh my
Yes.
god, I love them. I wanted to just hang out with them all day. They have black cats on the grounds that just hang
Yeah.
out, and I'm
Edgar
like,
and Pluto, right? I think are their names. Yeah. Yeah, they're super cute cats.
they're amazing. I'm a cat gal myself. I wasn't.
You are?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
Oh.
I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah, I'm a cat. I'm a
I
cat
love it. That's
person.
great. Yeah.
I was always a dog
That's why
person.
we hang out. We
Yeah.
just go all together.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The cat people have to stay together because we are all odds against us.
I love that.
Crazy cat lady. What, I don't know, whatever.
But yeah, Luna, anthologies like this is the great thing for you to kind of get
Yes.
started, you know, with your goals that you want to hit. That's how I got started reading, just little things at a time, magazines, and then it just more and more until I was just completely enthralled in my book. And my mom was like, "Will you get your head out of a book?" You know, it's like most parents are like, you know, want their kids to read, and I was the opposite. You know, my mom was like, "You're always reading." Like,
I was
come with
that
the
kid.
family.
Binge reading, like
Right? And it's like, but it was like, I can't believe this is in the library. I can't believe they let me check this out.
I know.
Some of the things, especially when I got into the Stephen King, is like, whoa.
Yeah. I was reading Anita Blake. Do you know the Anita Blake series? In high school, and now that I'm like thinking back at that, I'm like, that was pretty spicy for a kid. So
It happens. I was an innocent summer child. I was reading like Amelia Debelia. I don't know if you remember that
Aw.
series. Or like
Vaguely.
Junie B. Jones, you know, that kind of stuff. I was reading that kind of stuff as a
Aw.
kid. I was a sweet summer child. Captain Underpants.
Not like Goosebumps?
Um, at the time I was more into like silly, quirky kid stuff. Like Junie B. Jones was my jam. I like the Valentine's Day edition one where she got all crazy, and then I liked all the like that's one thing I will remember from my childhood from reading books. The Scholastics Book Fair. I was a poor kid. I was a poor ass kid, so I'd save all my nickels. I'd save all my nickels and quarters or whatever. And then, like, on the Scholastics Book Day sale, I'd go straight to the 99-cent bin. And then I'd pick a book out of the 99-cent bin and I'd pay and all, like, change, like, here, okay. And I'd read it. I'd be like, yes. My very favorite book that I got from the Scholastics Book Fair for $1, guys. Ready for this one? Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I got that book for $1 back when I was, you know, a wee child. I was probably like, what, 9 when I bought it for $1 at the Scholastic Book Fair. I don't know if they still have those, but and one year my mom went all out. She got me a ready for this? A $9.99 magician kit because I was like kind of into magic as a kid. I wanted to do like magic tricks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I told my mom, okay, we gotta save up for this because they'd send you like the pamphlet and then they'll be like, all right, you got a month to pick whatever books you want and then order it, and then the fair will come and then bring you whatever you ordered. So I saw they had like a magic kit with like the book and all the like the wand and all, like they even had a little guillotine for your finger so you could like be like, oh look, I cut off my finger, hey hey hey, you know, magic trick. So I was like, okay, I saved money. I remember like saving a lot of money so I could buy this, you know, this magic kit, and yeah, very good memories. I think,
Aw.
you know, I think that's what I remember most vividly about books is the Scholastic Book Fair, being very excited. Even though I was not an avid reader, the book that I did get a hold of, I was like, yes, because it was
That's
like,
awesome.
I think that's probably why I was not a very strong reader, because my socioeconomics, I didn't have a library card. My parents didn't
Really?
drive. Um, you know, I didn't have access to it. I mean, I'd have whatever the school provided me, like your history book or whatever, science, whatever book, but it's like, you're reading that for homework, not for fun.
Right.
So yeah,
The school didn't have a library
not
at the
really.
school? Oh,
Really?
wow.
I went to a ghetto school as a kid. It's like,
Well,
no, they didn't have a library. They had a
I went to
library.
some too.
They had a library, but it was like for like school. Like, you want to know about plate tectonics? Here's a book. It's like, fuck, how am I gonna read that? It's boring. Nothing fun that I remember.
Yeah.
Brian
I used to
said,
get lost in the biography section and like start reading about Vlad the Impaler and shit.
oh, nice.
That's my speed.
Yeah. I love the Scholastic Book Fairs. I still have a Sherlock Holmes book that was in comic book form. I love the book, and I became a huge Sherlock Holmes fan.
Aw.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think we all
awesome.
have Scholastic Book Fair memories, and
Yeah.
those were probably some of my best. So I appreciate Sarah coming on the show and bringing back some of
Aw.
our fond memories of books.
They didn't have the 99-cent bin for me.
They didn't?
I never there. No, everything was so expensive. I think one thing I
Damn, girl.
was able to afford was like Gremlins 2, a new batch in book form. I was really stoked about that. That was like $9.99 or something.
Really? They didn't have the, because
There
usually
wasn't
in the
any
book fair,
deals.
in our book fair, the little sneaky little fuckers, they put all the good shit in the front, and then you'd have to turn the page, and all the way in the back it said, wow, 99 cents. And there was like a little section, and then they put it all in the bin in the back, in the way, way back. So if you were a broke ass kid, you knew, fuck the section. Don't even look. Don't even look at the temptation. Just go to the back, pick a book that you want from the cheap section, and yeah. But I didn't become a magician, so there's that.
They need to give you your money back for that kit.
Yeah, I'm owed $10 because I apparently did not become, the next I don't know, whatever,
David Blaine.
David Blaine, whoever. Insert celebrity magician here name.
Yeah.
So very fun stuff. So going back to books, what is your favorite book, Sarah?
Oh my gosh, that's tough. I would have said Dracula. Recently, I read Carmilla. Have you ever read Carmilla? It's like a
No.
novella. It is kind of like I mean, some people say like female Dracula, but it's about a female
Ooh.
vampire and a female like victim she's kind of pursuing. So it's got some interesting vibes there. I like that. I guess vampires are kind of my thing as far as like my interests. Because I was gonna say I love I Am Legend. That's Richard Matheson.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great one. Guilty Pleasures, the first Anita Blake was, that stands out to me. So they're all vampires. But yeah. How about you? What are your favorite books?
When I do read,
Putting you on the spot.
any of them that are in audiobook form, and Huge shout out to, I gotta admit, the person that did oh my god, I'm gonna butcher his name. I have to look this up because I don't want to sound like an idiot. But I'm pretty sure it's Rob Inglis. Let me just double verify myself. Yes. Oh my god, his voice. His name is Rob Inglis, Inglis. He does the audiobook. I will share with you guys really quick just on screen because I don't know, because I can. Um, this is it this one? Yes. So this is the cover. This is the cover of his audiobook for Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Oh my god. That is such a good, like, you know, in Lord of the Rings, they have the singing bits where they do like the little la 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 la. He actually sings it, and I'm like, ah, and he has a really nice, soothing British voice,
Oh,
and I absolutely adore it. And so I would say the audiobooks for Robert Inglis, um, yeah. If you
yeah.
guys have not heard this audiobook, you guys need to, especially if you're Lord of the Ring fans, because it's just the way he reads it to you, you're there, you know, and then when he
Mhm.
sings, and then different characters have different voices. So when he's narrating, he has a different voice. When he speaks for Gandalf, he gets like a very, oh, you know, like a very sultry, and you're like, ah, character change, cool. You know what I'm saying? So it's
I
just
love that.
so nice.
Nice.
He's such a good reader, and I think I'm pretty sure he's an actor too, because like, God, he has like a shitload of talent. Apparently, according to this, he's Australian, but he does have a very kind of Britishy accent. But he is an Australian. He's an Australian British actor, writer, journalist, critic, and producer. So that's probably why his actor part of it. That's why his audiobook is like so freaking good, because he is an actor, so he can do
Yeah.
the part very well. And then my teenage book that I was telling you about, maybe I can contact this lady and be like, "Hey, I love your book as a kid. This book, Vampire
Okay.
Kisses." I don't know. You're into vampires, right? So by
Yeah.
Ellen Schreiber. Schreiber.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what the book looks like. You know, she moves in. There's a creepy castle, and fun ensues. So definitely a good time if you're into vampires.
It's awesome.
Yeah. But going back to a little bit of your work, um, yeah, pretty much you've explained Love Letters to Poe. What can we expect on the live tomorrow? You guys doing like any raffles or any? Are
Yeah.
you guys doing anything cool, or what's going on tomorrow? Because I know it's like 5 hours, I think, of streaming.
It's like 12:30 to 8 because we're
Oh, that's 8 hours of streaming.
I have lovely co-hosts. The 6 Degrees of Poe ladies are managing the day because I will have other things to do with the Kickstarter launching, but I'll be on certain times throughout the day. But yeah, we'll do like an intro, and we've got I've invited some authors for this third anthology to already just they're invited, they're going to do stories. So some of them will be on reading their work, talking about their work. We've got a tarot panel. If anyone likes,
Ooh, yeah.
yeah, so
What
talking
time?
about tarot.
What time is the tarot panel? I'm here. If I'm
Oh
not
my
at work.
gosh, let me. Can I
Yeah,
pull?
yeah. Pull
Can
it
I
up.
Yeah,
pull?
while you look
Okay.
that up, I'll share my favorite book. Is
Yes.
Yes.
called Wolfile. It's written by Jack Woods. I love all those 80s, late 70s, 80s, 90s horror books. They call them paperbacks from hell now. And I just love that they have that. So when I'm searching now for these old books, I can find them. So it's a werewolf novel. I'm
Mm,
obsessed with werewolves, and
love
it's
it.
come some sexy parts as well. And on a side note, you did mention Buffy, and I love Buffy.
She's a big Buffy
What?
fan.
Yes, obsessed. So,
Huge
who is
fan
your
of Buffy.
favorite character and favorite episode?
Ooh. If I'm just gonna like first instinct, Spike is my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah, if I was up in my office, I'd show you. I have like the Buffy original board game and the Beanie
Ooh.
Bears and everything.
Nice.
I love Buffy. Favorite episode, all the Halloween episodes.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe the college one really sticks out with the fear demon. Yeah, I do love that one.
Yes.
So
I love the Once More with Feeling because I'm
Well,
obsessed
yeah.
with singing and musicals.
Of course. That's a wonderful one. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. But yeah, Buffy.
I'm not as big as a Buffy fan as Kat. She's like way big Buffy person. I'm like mild. I've seen a few episodes here and there. My favorite episode for Buffy is the one. Kat, you gotta fill me in on this because I'm bad with names. You know, all our viewers know.
I don't remember all the titles either.
Ooh, remember that scene where Willow has her moment, lesbian moment with that girl,
Okay.
and then they start floating.
Kara.
And
Yes.
thank you. I love that
was in the
scene.
musical, weren't
I
they?
was gonna say
singing?
that's the musical
There's-
one.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they're singing, right? Whatever. And I'm like, is that possible? Is it possible to be attracted to women? Am I attracted to women?
Oh my
Oh
God.
God.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like-
because Willow was one of the first lesbian characters. Yeah, that was huge.
It was,
for me
yeah.
too.
I was like, I saw it and I'm like, holy shit! This is
Yeah, they went real raunchy with that suggestive.
Yeah, that was
Like,
great.
what
I
is
was like,
what is Willow
whoa.
doing there? But I do, in hindsight, though, I mean, I guess in hindsight, there's some problematic things about Buffy, but I don't like that they made Willow she just became a lesbian. I'm like, no, she also loved Oz. She's bi.
yeah.
She's bi.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
but yeah, no, I mean, that representation is great to have. on
That
screen.
representation was interesting for a lot of people because it's like, wait a minute, this is okay. I'm glad you brought that up, Kat. I was about to ask you what she was looking at the stuff for the. I was like, wait a minute, what's her favorite book?
Yeah.
We
Werewolves
all-
are great. I sent you the link in private chat. I don't know if you wanted to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I will present it because I think this is very important for our people to see. Kind of like what exactly is going on tomorrow. That way you guys can definitely tune in to, the whoa, there's a lot of amazing events it looks like.
Yeah. And that link, I don't know if you want to share that people can then sign up or, I'll send out a reminder email if people sign up on that.
So let me zoom in on this so people can actually see
Yeah.
what's going on. Okay, so at 12:30 it looks like
Yeah.
they're doing a talk. And then it brings us up to 1:30 to 2. Then you'll be on from 1 to 1:30. Then kind of
it kind of flows a little bit. Yeah, you got some Poe trivia there, some
trivia. Rose is going to be on. And then Poe movies 3 to 4. Unfortunately, I'll be at work, so I'll have to miss this, but I'm sure I can watch the recording of it. But a tarot panel from 4 to 5. And then 6 to 7, you have the dramatic reading with these fine people.
Yeah.
And then
Chris is the one who's the curator of the Poe Museum. So that's what he'll be talking about. Yeah.
Awesome. And then I don't know if I saw him when I was there, but that's awesome. And then kind of like
I think Renee's the one who did the creepy doll story. I think she's going to dress up as a creepy doll, so that could be fun to watch.
Yes. And then closing ceremonies with the Poe toast. Ooh, this looks so much fun! Like all of this.
Thanks.
Whoever made this is so good. It's like a little event. It's like a little love letters to Poe little online convention because you got all this like stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
mean,
love it.
huge thank you to Carmen and Jeannie from 6 Degrees of Poe. They really helped put it all together. So,
If it's okay with you, I'll share this link with everybody here tonight.
yes, please.
That way they can sign up, do all that fun stuff, RSVP, get a link of the segment if there's a special segment they want to watch. That way they can definitely tune in for that.
Perfect.
Hey, I'll share that. And Brian also asked or said, I'm interested in what are Sarah's favorite type of vampires. She like Dracula or human-like or vampires that are more monstrous, like on Buffy.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm probably gonna have to go with the sexy vampires. The more human looking. I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. I think, the Dracula movie with Gary Oldman.
We've talked about that during our hurricane party. If you guys want to watch back, we talked about Gary Oldman.
There's
the
something
top
about
hat
that.
and
Yeah, that. I mean, and I think when I started watching Buffy, I might have been 11 or 12. So it was Angel all the way for a long time. And then when I got older, I was like, oh, wait, Spike. I met him.
James Marsters. He's
James
so
Marsters.
sweet.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
I have too. I was like, don't freak out. Don't freak out.
I mean, of course you freak out. Like, it's such a jarring psychological experience to meet actors. But yeah.
And I was digging Angel more after he lost his soul. Then I was like, daddy.
You like the bad boys.
I like the bad boys, yeah.
But there's something about that, like flirting with danger kind of element, right? So
have you met Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Have I met her? No, I have not met her.
It's on Cat's to-do list, so I'm definitely looking around for any conventions that feature her, and we're grabbing our plane ticket.
Yeah, does Sarah? I don't think she goes to many conventions. I haven't seen. I don't think she likes it. I hate to say that, but I have met like a bunch of I met like Anthony Stewart Head, which I don't know. That was probably my favorite meeting.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well,
Buffy.
Maybe one day. I don't know.
We're gonna see Buffy from the movie. I mean, so we're excited. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna reboot. It's gonna be like
they already have
show.
the books. The books are really good, and in the book,
are they?
Yeah, okay. Willow's by.
So, oh, good. Oh, they fixed it.
Yeah, the authors that they had pick it up really know Buffy and the universe. So I'm really happy with where they're going with the books.
That's awesome. Yeah, I tried to read the comics and it just kind of lost me. It got a little wild.
It got a little crazy. They rebooted all that. It's
okay.
They started fresh.
Oh, nice.
So you don't have to worry about getting lost. It's a fresh start.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Do you have any books planned in the horizon? Like any, I don't know, like let's say next year you're going to release a book or anything that we need to be aware about?
Yeah, I mean, so I am plotting a third one of the like Gothic ghost stories that I mentioned. I am also working on I'm finishing up a short story collection with stories from that same kind of universe. So that will all probably be coming next year.
Next year. Awesome.
Yeah, I got to get through this post stuff right now.
Nice.
I do have a day job too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm juggling. I'm very good at time management, I guess. I don't know. I think something about being a mother too just made everything like I want to like seize everything.
Whoa, that makes us like extra crazy then, because on top of that, you're giving us an hour of your time, and you got work, kid.
I'm
writing.
taking leave. I'm taking off. I'm taking leave tomorrow. So at least for that. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I like my job. I do. So
good. As long as you're happy, that's what matters.
Well, and it doesn't put that pressure on my art to make my living so that I can do what I want, I guess. So
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You're not like, oh my God, I need to sell because I'm not going to eat if I don't sell.
Right. And then you make decisions that aren't as fun, and then it becomes a job anyway. And like, what's the point of that? So, yeah.
That's true. That's very true. Do any of our viewers have any final questions to ask while we have Miss Sarah here live and in person? Because once she's gone, you missed your opportunity. You can't ask no more questions until she comes back, if she wants to come back.
I will come back. I mean, we could talk about where we met. We met on Slasher. I don't know if all your viewers are familiar with Slasher.
We talk about it. We had the creator on Slasher.
I watched some of that. That was awesome.
Yeah, Damon's such an amazing guy.
Yeah, I guess I just say because I'm new to Slasher, so yeah, I've really enjoyed it so far.
Yeah, I've never had a bad interaction or encounter on Slasher. Everyone's been really like friendly and happy and like family, and I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't know I was joining a social media cult, but here we are. Just kidding.
No, I've loved it. Yeah, I've been just talking, where do you get to talk about some of that horror stuff and people kind of get it? Because on my other social media, if I was like, oh yeah, Uzumaki and Hell House and all that, but like everybody else is like, oh yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
The other social medias, you have to like hunt down the horror people. Like, okay, I can tell they're into horror. But with Slasher, everyone's into horror, so it makes things a lot easier, and everybody's so embracive and helps out each other. I really love it. And he did do some kind of update, because I did update the app, and it's a lot more smooth. Because when I first started using it, I think I've been a user for about a year or so. When I first started using it, it had some glitches, as with most things when they first launch, but it just gets smoother and smoother every time I log in, and I have more and more friends. So he's definitely getting there. So we're excited about that as well.
Yeah, very cool.
It's good. You can promote your book to people that are actually interested in this stuff.
Yes.
If you promote it on Facebook, I mean, no hate on Facebook. Facebook is an okay platform, but there's just a variety of people on there that you might not get the same traction that on a dedicated horror themed social networking, where everybody likes the same genre and everybody can jump on this thing and be like, oh yeah, we're all about it.
Yeah.
And then on Facebook, they have horror groups that you have to join, get approval. And then they have all their rules and like what you can post and what you can't. Is just frustrating.
I was going to say, like, I feel
horror.
like I'm a lot less stiff on Slash. I feel like, I'm just like, hey, I'm watching a movie tonight or whatever. Or like, if you cuss, it's not a big deal. Or,
Yes.
It's nice.
You bring up a good point, because when I want to promote stuff on like different Facebook groups to try to get more viewership, people are always like, well, no self-promoting. And I'm like, well, then how are people going to know about us? I'm not promoting myself.
What is your page for?
I'm like, I'm not promoting myself. I'm promoting our art. It's art. Yes. And it's not mine. It's ours.
Yes.
We don't make any money.
Yeah. What am I promoting? It's free. Technically, I'm losing money because we have to pay for StreamYard. We have to pay for Canva. If we mail that stuff to our fans, that costs money. Keeping the lights on costs money. Everything costs money. So it's like, technically, I'm losing money.
definitely understand that. Why do you think I'm doing a Kickstarter?
You know,
I'm just trying to break even, y'all. Like, no,
exactly.
but it
Hobbies,
also it lets me bring cool stuff to people too, for sure.
exactly. Hobbies are not cheap, and but believe me, this is a lot cheaper than like Warhammer. I mean, I wanted to get started into Warhammer, but it's like
Yeah.
$800 to get started because you got to buy all the little minis and then the paint, and then
Yeah. Well, that's
it's like this is
my
cheaper.
husband right now is setting up it. We just got a board game table, like a legit, like what?
Oh,
Ooh.
nice.
So I'm excited. We've been doing Frosthaven, so
Oh, cool.
yeah,
Cool.
super
So,
nerd over here, I guess.
yeah. Me and Kat
Yay.
are nerds too. We're like horror nerds because we met playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Nice.
And we've
I
been
love it.
playing campaigns for what, 6 years now?
Wow.
More than that. I
Since
think we
2017.
yeah,
I
you
joined in
joined.
I
You
joined in
joined us 6 years.
2017.
Yeah.
So I don't know, do the
That's
math for math people.
amazing.
Yeah.
So we've been playing campaigns.
This
We
last
play-
campaign, we just passed a year.
We've been in a year on this.
Campaign.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's storytelling.
It is. It's a lot of
Yes.
fun.
Yeah.
And you get to write what happens in
Yeah.
real time.
That's
And if
exciting.
you F up, the whole
You could
table
kill
F's up.
everybody.
I tried to do a D&D and I was just because I was like a chaos tiefling with like wild magic and I just kept like
Ooh,
dude.
nice.
I don't know.
High risk, high reward.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if I can hang with it. But there are
It's
other
a lot
ways
of
to get
fun.
in. Yeah.
Yeah,
You just
if
gotta
you
have a
find
good group of people. It's about the people,
exactly,
really.
it's about the people.
Yeah. That's
I
awesome.
couldn't see myself playing with other people because you don't know their play style. They might be kind of dicks. And with the group that me and Kat play right now, it's I always ask questions. I'm like the kind of player that's like totally like aloof. I'm like, or not aloof, but oblivious. I'm like, so what happens if I do this? And I ask questions to the group, and they're not like, you should know this. You know, they're not like that. They give me
Yeah.
like guidance, and they're like, yeah, why don't you do this, or stand over there, move 30 feet, whatever. Everyone's very
Nice.
helpful, and I would hate to play in a group where they're like sticklers, like you should know your character. Fuck you. You know, so I think I would have a problem. I would cuss people out if like I asked for help and somebody told me you should know what you're doing. I would like not be a nice person. So
Yeah.
that's probably why I enjoy this group. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. But that's our just our little segue that we play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Technically Pathfinder, but if you say Pathfinder, people are like, what?
Huh?
So Dungeons and Dragons, it's easy. People know
Nice.
that.
Yeah.
So, Miss Cat, do you have any final questions for Miss Sarah before she gets off?
No. And where can people send submissions to, Sarah? Is that on the Kickstarter?
Yeah, there is a section of the
Okay.
Kickstarter that describes that. People can also just go to loveletterstopoe.com and you can find all the information there too if they want to submit.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I
Ooh.
signed up for your mailing list and I got a
Yay.
free the Strangle of Ivy.
Yeah.
So I've started that. It's very interesting. Let's just say it's very
Yay. Yeah.
interesting.
Oh,
So
thank you.
you guys can
Ooh, no
definitely sign up
spoilers.
for Sarah's mailing list and check out her work and get a little sample.
Yeah,
Love
that
it.
one's the easiest URL is hopefulhorror.com. So, so you get my short
Yes.
story on that site and then the loveletterstopoe.com. You actually will get a sample of the first anthology if you want that too. So,
Ooh,
yeah, but
pamphlet.
yeah, you have to let me know what you think of the Strangle of Ivy.
Absolutely.
I actually it's a movie too.
Ooh.
I don't know if you
Was
saw
it what
that.
was it released under a different title? You know, no, I did see that it was a
Yeah.
screenplay
No,
as
it's the
well. So I
same
was like,
title. It's a
okay.
short film. It's playing at film festivals now.
Nice.
So,
Ooh.
yeah.
What
And
genre is this in?
it's also gothic horror. It's in the same universe as my books that I was telling you about. So,
Gothic horror.
Okay.
We love it.
Nice.
yeah.
You-
Very
You're getting us hooked on that
claustrophobic.
world, so we're like, more.
I hope you like it.
So far, it's very nice. The
Thanks.
writing's smooth. It's
Awesome.
very good. The character building is. I'm
Nice.
liking it.
Wonderful.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Since our viewers do not have any more questions, I will just do a last plug-in before we let everybody go for the night. Tomorrow is going to be a very special day. Tomorrow we have the director joining us from England, guys. So that's why we're doing a little bit. His name is David A. Roberts. He's joining us from England, so that's why our start time is going to be very early because it's late for him, and we have to be considerate of our guests and their time. So it's going to be starting at 1 p.m. Live stream. We're going to do about an hour. So at 1 p.m. tomorrow Eastern time. And we'll be discussing his latest movie called Older Gods, which, if you have not seen it, it's free on Tubi to watch with ads, which, the ads aren't that long, so it's not a big deal. It's a great thriller. It's a great movie. I really enjoyed it. And it would be perfect for you, Sarah, because it did not have a lot of blood and gore.
Oh, really? Oh,
No. And what little blood there was, it was very validated because of
Okay.
what's going on throughout the story. But it's like
And it's based on some like older, I guess it's kind of like older, the elder gods type
Deity.
stuff, kind of
Yeah.
Cthulhu-ish.
I like
Cool.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lovecraftian.
Yeah, it's like
definitely.
a Lovecraftian thriller.
No, very cool.
Not very slasher, not very gory. Moderate gore, appropriate use though. When you do see slight bits of it, it's like perfect because I don't handle too much gore either.
Yeah.
So that's I
And
loved
pay
it.
attention to the background. There's sometimes you'll see like shadows and things like, ooh.
I love
Yeah.
movies like that where I'm like searching for
For what's going on. Oh yeah. So you guys join us tomorrow. He's been so gracious with his time. Him and Wagyu Films. They're so gracious to do this interview all the way from England for us, and we're just a little tiny channel, and the fact that they came out and are gonna support us and do this interview for you guys, that I couldn't have asked for anything more. So tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time, watch us. And then after that, you can go watch Sarah's live stream for the tarot and all that fun stuff that's going on over there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. This was Delight and Fright. See you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. Bye.
Bye.